This is the Cedar Rapids Community School District Board of Education meeting, and this is Monday, April 22nd. Thank you all for joining us. We do appreciate your attendance. The first thing I'm going to ask, first I'd like to say before I ask for the approval of the agenda, is we had a very special recognition this evening. It was recognizing outstanding building volunteers throughout our district. We have just, the time and talent is immeasurable, and the impact that they have on our kids is just tremendous. So we want to thank all of those people, not just those that were recognized this evening, but those that continue to volunteer in our schools on a regular and daily basis. Next, I'll ask for approval of the agenda. Nancy, if you would read that, please.
Yes, the agenda, the agenda of Monday, April the 22nd, 2013, Board of Education meeting be approved as set forth, and that each item is considered ready for discussion and/or action.
Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Keith. This is a roll call action.
Director Witt?
Aye.
Director Westphal?
Aye.
Director Anhall?
Aye.
Director Hummel?
Aye.
Director Laverty?
Aye.
Director Rosenthal?
Aye.
President Meisterling?
Aye, thank you. Next, I'll turn it over to Dr. Benson for a superintendent report.
Thank you. This evening, I would like to announce that we have 5 finalists for the position of Kennedy High School principal. They are visiting the school this week, meeting staff, students, parents, and community members. Detailed information of the schedule of events for the candidates can be found on the district website. Everyone has an opportunity to participate. As mentioned, tonight is our annual recognition of school volunteers. It's a very special celebration of outstanding building volunteers, one honoree from each of our 31 schools. The district is very fortunate to have over 7,100 registered volunteers sharing their time and talents in our schools. Last year, the volunteer workforce contributed more than 149,000 hours of time in support of instruction. We want to take this opportunity publicly to thank all of our volunteers and our individuals who are recognized this evening. And finally, artwork created by several district students representing all grade levels was unveiled over the weekend as part of the 2013 Murals and More Art Walk event. Students were invited to create banners depicting historical views of Cedar Rapids. The murals will be displayed downtown throughout the summer. And speaking of art, a new art exhibit will open our ELSC gallery later this week. The painting An October Day by T.C. Steele will be hung in the space on Thursday. This is a large oil on canvas piece painted in 1911. Was most recently displayed at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art, and we encourage everyone in the community to stop by and enjoy the art.
Great, thank you. At this time, I ask if any board members have any reports that they would like to share. Alan?
Yes, Madam President, we had our hopefully final legislative gathering here Saturday with our representatives from the State House and superintendents and school officials from the area. And what we found out was, as far as education reform goes, they are back and forth in conference committee of the 10 people, 5 from the Senate, 5 from the House. And they've had offers on April 17th by the Senate, by the House on April 18th, and they're right now going back and forth with counter offers. They've narrowed it down to about 2 items they can't agree on. But we're hoping, the date was set. They asked us, Dr. Benson and other superintendents over there asked, how soon do you need to know? And I think the date was yesterday. No, April 28th, I think, was a date was put out there, which means this week. So I think it was good. John was there, and Steve Graham. That's all I had to report on that.
Okay, great. Any other reports or comments? John?
Several of us attended the National School Board Association Conference in San Diego. So Alan and Keith and Mary and myself were there, and lots of great professional development sessions. So we heard a lot about infusing technology in curriculum, different strategies for STEM and the arts, amongst many other issues. And I thought we all came away with a lot of good ideas. I have some handouts that I created if anybody wants to peek at those, or I think now we can email the link to all of the handouts from every session to the entire board. So maybe I'll pass that along to Laurel and she can share that with the rest of the board. So.
You know, one comment I'd like to make is that if you notice, there was no paper at this conference. Nothing was on paper. Everything was electronic, or at least for all the sessions that I attended, and that was really a push and a drive to infuse technology in everything that we do. So I feel sorry for all of you at this table because we're now really enriched and eager to get started on all the many things that we learned. Is that an understatement?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, John.
So one other thing, since I have a senior in high school, this is my first experience with post-prom. And I must say to all of the parents in Cedar Rapids Community School District with seniors and some juniors that help volunteer at our high schools, they're amazing. They kept these kids engaged till 4 in the morning. And you know, high school kids trying to keep them engaged that hour. And they kept them off the streets. So Cedar Rapids and the community were much better places post-prom, so we didn't have kids drinking and driving and all those sorts of things going on. They had a great time, and many businesses in the community donated amazing items and gift cards for these kids. So thanks to all those folks that organized those post-prom events.
Great, thank you. Alan, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
I just wanted to mention that Dr. Benson deserves some kudos. You know, Project Lead the Way has been an effort of this district for a long time. And the middle schools, of course, have Gateway to Technology, and the high schools now are all offering the Introduction to Engineering and Principles of Engineering. And I think what we learned at this conference particularly was that STEM is the hot item, and we are at or above that cutting edge. And so I applaud the administration for doing that, and the focus on the regional center and Dr. O'Malley's focus on helping students. Last time we talked, there was 135 students going to the regional center. That might grow a little more here, but the key is that we're ahead of the curve on the STEM. So thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Benson. And lastly, Gary Anhalt and I hosted a Chalk Talk at the Wilson Hy-Vee this past Saturday. And what we're finding, or at least the two of us are finding, is that each time we do this, we're getting more and more people. So we will continue to post those dates on the website as they become available and encourage our resident community to come out and chat with us over a cup of coffee. It's not always easy for people to make it to our meetings, so we want to make sure it's easy for you to communicate with us. So continue to watch for those dates as well. Next is communications and delegations and petitions. I do have 2 requests from the folks in the audience to speak to this board. First is Jennifer Hill. And Jennifer, I know you know this, but could you please state your name and address for the record?
Jennifer Hill, 1925 B Avenue Northeast. I have come to a realization this year that I would like to attempt to share. While advocating for Polk, I truly was in it for others. Naively, I believed that though I was disappointed my own kids would be leaving a great school, we could overcome differences we might face because I had the time and was willing to partner with the teachers. What I didn't consider was that when parents have higher expectations for learning than an individual teacher, the child will not only sense that, but they will resent it. This has been our struggle with our second grader all year. When picking a school, I went to each. I asked the same questions and tried to understand their differences. But there were 2 things that I assumed. One, because you told us many times, that the academics were equivalent in each school, and 2, that SINA and other tests were not necessarily the best indicators for success. We chose Garfield based on its similar culture and demographics to Polk. Everyone has been very friendly, sometimes more than we expected. But last year, to keep Zachary challenged, he attended second grade for part of the day. Because this school doesn't share that same practice, my son has spent most of the year in review. We have seen a dramatic decline in work ethic, and he complains about going to school now. Mid-year, I pointed out the lack of homework given, only to discover He hadn't handed in any assignments for weeks. His teacher hadn't noticed. We have seen when I asked if the expectation was to have the work turned in, I was told, well, for kids like Zachary, of course, but many of our students don't come from such supportive homes. Obviously, it was not an expectation for him if you didn't even notice that he hadn't done it. And further, I may have discovered one of Polk's success strategies. It was understood that to many of the students, the school was stability. While those kids might need more support, it was essential to raise the bar for them, teaching accountability and pride in their work in the process. After our second teacher conference, I took the problem to the principal. She worked to get Zachary FaceTime with a volunteer where he's given extra assignments. The effort has been greatly appreciated. We have seen pride return, if only during these times. We knew he needed to stop this pattern of boredom quickly, though, so our search for a long-term solution began. I talked to many homeschooling moms, even though that is my least favorite option. Interestingly to me, the majority of them said they had not wanted to do it either at first. These families are from multiple districts, but the message was clear. Many, if not most, of the people I talked to only homeschool because they are disappointed in their public school system. Please do not dismiss those that leave for that option without finding out the reason why. As for our family, we have chosen a different district. Zachary cried when I told him that there would be another new school. But when I said, "You don't like going anyway," he summed it up perfectly. "Mom, it's only because we don't learn anything new." I'm sad our kids will not get to attend their neighborhood school. Obviously, that was something that is very important to me. And I'm very sad that they won't experience the diversity of the community. But I realize that the biggest impact to the district itself is the $280,000 you will lose over the next 13 years because my family is left. I know of a couple other families that have experienced similar situations from different classes, grades, and even schools, but I make no claim as to how common this is. It is merely our experience.
Thank you, Jen. Next, I have Stephen Hill. And again, for the record, your address. Thank you.
Stephen Hill, 1925 B Avenue Northeast. I'm more of the cold, logical person, so I'll be a little bit shorter. I wanted to put numbers to what's going on with open enrollment. To give you a reference, my calculations are from the Linn-Mar Board of Education minutes from April 1st and the Marion Board of Education minutes from April 8th. You can find those online to verify my mathematical totals. With just Marion and Linn-Mar, 76 students open enrolled out of Cedar Rapids. Of those, 39, 55 of those students were in grades K through 3. 39 of them were from kindergarten alone. If you add up that money over the course of their school time, that's $6,432,000. I used $8,000 per child per year. I may be off, but I thought that was a conservative estimate. But interestingly enough, though, the K through 3 total is just by itself is $5,472,000. That's 85% of the money that will be lost. So that's concerning because essentially the K through 3, which is where you want to grab the students and keep them in your district, that's the most of the kids that are exiting the district. So there's something to be addressed there. I didn't even attempt to count in homeschooling, but I know when I looked at the minutes from Linn-Mar and Marion, I know just to Marion there were about 30 homeschoolers from Cedar Rapids that went there, and a total of about 70 homeschoolers from all other districts into Marion. and more than that into Linn-Mar. So I kind of think that gives credence to what we're feeling and what we're experiencing, that the education quality is just, it's just not there. I don't think building new buildings or, you know, more technology, whatever, you can't put lipstick on a pig. I mean, based on those numbers, I mean, that's another reason why that we're leaving, so. But on the upside, you know, we'll be gone and we won't be bothering you, but we were here because we cared, we were concerned about the school district. So, thank you.
Thank you. We've always appreciated your comments and your participation, and we never, ever considered that to be a bother. So thank you for stepping up and sharing your thoughts and feelings with us. We appreciate it, and we're sorry that you find yourselves in a position to exit our district. Next, we have on our consent agenda, is there any item that anyone would like to pull for separate consideration or vote, or any item that anyone has any questions about? If not, this is a roll call action.
Director Westerkamp.
Aye.
Director Anhalt.
Aye.
Director Humbles.
Aye.
Director Laverty.
Aye.
Director Rosenthal.
Aye.
Director Witt. President Meisterling.
Aye. Next, I'll turn this over to Gary O'Malley to talk about online learning.
Thank you. Holly Palmershot has been invited to update the Board of Education on how the Cedar Rapids Community School District has been promoting professional development for teachers, improving student-teacher instructional practices, and increasing educational opportunities for rigorous online work. Holly's presentation tonight will include a video demonstration of Canvas, which is a learning management system being used in a local high school classroom. Holly's in her 8th year in the Cedar Rapids Community School District. She's a graduate of Jefferson High School. She holds a BS in mathematics from UNI, a master's in science and secondary counseling, and a master's in arts in K-12 administration from Drake University. She spent the first 10 years of her career teaching high school mathematics before transitioning 2 years ago into the role of professional development facilitator for technology. Holly, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. O'Malley, and thank you to the board for giving me this time to update you on the progress of our online learning initiative. As we begin to develop online courses for our students, we must lay a strong foundation so that we can really ensure that staff and student success is in a sustainable program. The foundations of our project are fourfold. First, we are looking at employing a user-friendly and robust learning management system. A learning management system is integral, not just in the development of online courses, but providing students and parents access to classroom resources and facilitating blended and hybrid learning environments in addition to flipped learning classrooms. We will also be focusing on teacher professional development. Across educational research, it is agreed that the #1 factor in student achievement is the teacher. So to ensure that sustainable program, we will be focusing on providing teachers the professional development needed to be successful as online instructors. We will also be promoting the strong teacher-student interactions. For students to be engaged in an online learning environment, they need to feel connected to their instructor. And then our rigorous courses. With every course we offer, we want to make sure that they uphold the academic integrity of the Cedar Rapids Community School District. So we will be looking at Canvas, and Canvas is a learning management system that will provide a consistent platform for students and staff and families then to communicate and have access to course resources and assignments. And so now we've got a little video from a pilot group that we've got going at Jefferson currently, where they're using it in a hybrid method.
I'm Mary Peterson, and I've been piloting Canvas at Jefferson High School. Right now we're doing a scavenger hunt. Like we're finding pictures from different like court cases in the United States.
Where they are trying to match up images that visually represent the various important Supreme Court cases that might show up on their AP US History exam. In phase 1 of the project, they're working in their groups to compile a long list of images.
I've been finding pictures and pasting them to Canvas so everybody can see what I'm doing.
And then in phase 2, into the other groups, and find the images that they have posted and see if they can correctly identify those Supreme Court cases.
We found pictures that represented them, and you post it in like a discussion format, so then other students can reply to it and say like what they think the picture was.
Canvas is a learning management system, so it's a website tool that allows students to have a blended classroom where they're doing part of our class online and part of our class in the classroom. And the online portion, they get to do things like discussions and take quizzes, turn in papers to me, and interact with their peers on a level that isn't available to them in just the classroom setting.
So I can go home and do my assignment anytime I want to.
It essentially eases the transition from an actual classroom setting to an online class.
I can also give students assignments that are not here in the classroom, and so if they're not here in the classroom, they can log onto the website, get the assignments, get the instructions for the assignments, contact me with just a click of the button, contact me with questions or issues that they're having, and I can get back to them very easily.
Makes my job as a student easier as I don't have to keep track of a lot of papers, and I can just use my laptop for what I need to do.
I've been using it for like assignment updates, so I use it kind of a lot because I get behind, but it's a good way to like remember when assignments are due, and chapter notes are on there, so that's easier too.
It's a really flexible tool that really helps me expand my classroom.
Canvas for me allows me to, one and probably foremost, get assignments online, complete those assignments, like say the assignment is get information out of a textbook. I could get the sheet, just typically a Word document, I could download that, can fill it in, and then submit it online.
They turn in their assignments, several of them, online to me. And I'm able to grade those online, give them feedback online very quickly, and it's almost in a real-time situation, all from my computer at home. Because I could see, like, Ian commented on the discussion forums are really one of my favorite parts of the class, and parts that I think that the students, or the feedback that I've gotten from the students, is that they really like them as well.
I do mine at home, and then I read other people's comments like Saturdays, and I do my comments on Sundays and stuff, so then I can see like what other people are thinking about and see if I'm on the right track, and it kind of helps everyone.
Have discussions with kind of in a forum setting with other students and with Ms. Peterson.
As a teacher, it helps me to understand and hear from a lot of students who are very quiet in class. With our discussions, I have the ability to have students interacting with one another, and I'm more of an observer, and I can jump in as I'm needed to, but it allows the students to have this communication with one another, and students who are very quiet in class and don't raise their hand and don't speak up, they're given this new platform where they are able to communicate with their peers. The quizzes that they can take, I can allow my students to take these quizzes online.
I just think it's a lot easier to do quizzes on, because it's just I guess being a kid, internet and stuff is a lot easier than writing stuff down.
Using Canvas, it's like a program on there. It's like you don't have to do homework at school. You can do it at home. Like it's easier to do homework here at home than at school.
They can take them when they have time, so these quizzes don't cut into classroom time, and we can use our classroom time really being more efficient, digging into resources and digging into different kinds of writing styles and writing techniques, and really the kind of the guts of the classroom we can do here.
Won't know.
Without the Canvas tool, the students, I think, are very limited in what we can do. And it's just this traditionally structured classroom where we only communicate with one another on this kind of surface level, who's raising their hand, who's going to be the brave one that decides to speak up. The kids don't have this interaction with one another that they do online and with Canvas, with these discussion forums that I'm having.
If I was going to try to sell Canvas, I'd say it would very easily bridge the gap to making the classroom more online, which in today's society, it's what we're going towards. We're moving towards everything being online.
It's online, it's written, It's all about communication. It's all about initiating communication with their peers, initiating communication with the teacher, responding in a timely fashion, using the internet, using all sorts of written communication, and kind of combining all of these into one center. And it really, I mean, it is the 21st century learning, like all of it, all combined into one.
So as you can see, the Canvas tool, again, is a learning management system, and many offer those same types of tools, but it's going to provide a digital resource library for just documents and different resources for class. You're going to have your integrated calendar feature for both students and parents, and it really is the foundation then for our 21st century classrooms. So then our second foundation point is that teacher professional development. We've adapted a series from the Project OLLI. It's a state-sponsored program. The courses were partially built in conjunction with Drake University as the core of its online instructor certificate. And then by engaging our educators in that online classroom, they will really be able to better relate to their students as we move forward and ask our students to be online students. Students are more successful when they feel connected to their instructor. So developing this connection online is a little bit more difficult. So we need to make sure that we have consistent and timely communication and feedback that's crucial to the success of our students. And then our last point is our rigorous courses. We will still maintain the same standards and alignment with the core. They'll be provided many instructional strategies and multiple methods of assessment. Delivery will be different, but the high standards and expectations will be the same. Our current capacity, we've got several different teachers involved in a couple different cohorts. Our first cohort is actually focused on making that next step into building online courses. They are currently halfway through their professional development series, and we will have online government that will be ready to run this summer at Kennedy. Then our second cohort, we opened up to teachers who are just interested in pursuing this delivery method, and not just online, but again, facilitating those blended, flipped, and hybrid classrooms. And we have a various involvement from different disciplines, and they are just currently finishing up their first course. So I appreciate your time. And I would.
Thank you, Holly. Great report. Questions, Anne?
Yeah, I was just interested in how you got the, sorry, I forget the name, the compass?
Canvas.
Canvas. So if you decided on Canvas through an RFP process, or if this was just kind of a pilot with Canvas and you might consider something else, or if it's through the Grantwood AEA, or I just didn't know how you arrived
In
there.
2012, in January of 2012, we had been asked to investigate some different learning management systems. So we pulled together a committee of teachers and started looking at the things that were out there and available. We looked at some things that were free, like Edmodo, and then we looked at some other systems, Edline, Sharp School, eChalk, some different learning management systems that are being employed and deployed throughout the state. So what we did is we brought that group of teachers together. We kind of made a list of must-haves. What does a learning management system have to have for teachers to use it? And then we had demos from the products, but then we were fortunate enough to have actual sandbox situations. So those teachers were brought in and they were allowed to work within the system. We went through, that took a couple months, and then in March we were looking at comparing. And what the group found was that none of the current systems that we were looking at really had enough that really would get teachers on board and using them in their classrooms. So now Canvas is 2 years old, so it was very new when we first started this process. So January of this year, this product came up. We've got several schools adopting it around us and in some bigger cities and states. And so we put it back on the table, brought those same people back in that had the previous knowledge of the other systems, looked at the same criteria, and gave them the same opportunity then to work within the system. And they came to that conclusion then that this system did have those features that were user-friendly and robust enough to really get teachers on board with implementing.
Thank you.
Okay, other questions or comments?
Love it.
Okay. Others? John?
Does this Canvas compete then like with Moodle, or is this a different product?
It would be in the same category. They would both be classified as learning management systems. We currently do have a Moodle server, and we do have some teachers that are working within Moodle. Again, it was one of those things that Moodle is a very robust system, but it is not user-friendly. We have had a hard time getting teachers to use it and training teachers on how to use it. So it's not been something that has provided us that pathway to really getting the materials out there in a quick and timely fashion. And it also doesn't allow for any parent or outside access that some of these other systems allow.
John?
I'm just curious, is this all on our servers? Are we having to pay for storage capacity and storage maintenance? And then what's the cost of this product? How is it, do we pay by student or?
It is a per user cost, and this is a cloud hosted, and there are advantages and disadvantages to that. Canvas is actually held on Amazon servers, so they have one of the highest percentages of being up. But we do pay per user, and it does depend on what we roll out. It's a higher cost per user when you're looking at just high school, as they see that your usage will not be the same with your younger grades as you do with your older students.
Is this something that Grant Wood could offer to a larger regional area and get that price down, or?
We have been working with Grant Wood. They are actually very interested in also employing this kind of system.
Okay.
It is part of the IEC agreement, so the state does have a contract to keep that price at a
Okay.
low price for Iowa.
Okay. Other comments or questions? Keith?
I have a question about the equipment that students are using. Are they using their own school district? I saw it's not in
Yep.
the computer lab.
Right now, currently, all of the above. We've got 3 different pilot situations going on, various degrees. The classroom that you saw is probably integrating the most, but they have, one of our big foundations is keeping it device agnostic so that they aren't tied into having to use a particular device. They can complete discussions and things like that from their smartphones, and they can be on laptops or anything that has the internet. So that class was using the portable labs provided at Jefferson. We have a computer skills classroom at the 7th grade level where they're using then the desktops that are provided in the lab that they're in. And then we have situations where they are expected to kind of go out and use their own devices either from home to complete different assignments.
Gary?
The professional development for teachers, how are they getting access, and what kind of access to learning how to use Canvas?
We are trying to integrate the actual use of Canvas into the professional development series. When I deliver the professional development, I actually deliver it online through Canvas. So they are experiencing the system as a student, and then building in to that learning the different how-tos, how to create an assignment with some of those basics, and then we go through, as they go through the course series, develop more pedagogy to actual, implementation and best practice of the teaching part. So we try to integrate it as much as possible. We don't want them to see it as separate.
Thank you.
We're excited about this, so thank you very much. It's a timely presentation. We're glad that you could share this information tonight. So thanks a lot, Holly, for your work. Okay, next is it's participation in ISCAP. Am I saying that correctly?
ISCAP.
ISCAP, okay, and that allows the district to go ahead and participate in a borrowing program over the summer. And I think Steve's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
I think you've said it very well, President Meisterling. Really, this gives us the ability to choose ISCAP should the financial comparability of a couple of other competing programs that are still out there waiting to be weighed with the final result comes in. So this gives us the authority based upon the ICE-CAP timelines. And it doesn't commit us to the ISB's program, it just gives us the authority.
Okay, I'm going to need a resolution, a motion, and as I'm looking at this, I'm a little confused, Laurel. Is it the supplemental resolution or this really long resolution that you want someone to read?
What you can say is that they move to accept the resolution that's provided.
Okay, can someone please move that?
I move to accept the resolution as provided.
Second, please.
Second.
This will be a roll call action.
Director Anhalt,
Aye.
Director Humbles,
Aye.
Director Laverty,
Aye.
Director Rosenthal,
Aye.
Director Witt,
Aye.
Director Westerkamp,
Aye.
President Meisterling.
Aye. Okay, next, I just want to advise the group that we will be meeting in an exempt session at the conclusion of our meeting this evening, and this will be for the purpose of discussing bargaining strategy and negotiation sessions for union and non-union employees. Exempt meetings are not subject to the open meetings law. Next, we're going to take a very short recess and then reconvene and go into a work session to talk about our district technology plan. So, 10 minutes? Okay, thank you.